Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Iconic Baseball. I am Iconic Al, and I've created this channel as a way to share my collection and engage with the collecting community. I'm a 30-year collector. I've been in the hobby for quite some time, and I've been following the game for quite some time. And over that time, I like to think that I've gained some knowledge and some perspective. And I've decided to focus my collection on primarily the top players of all time. So I've devised my own list of the top 100 greatest and most iconic players of all time. I plan on sharing that list on this channel, starting at number 100 and every week counting down to number one. Today, video number one, we're going to be starting at number 100, which is a bit of an unconventional pick. It's a player that not primarily known as a baseball player. However, undoubtedly iconic. Someone that is unmistakable, someone, in my opinion, that belongs on this list, even if statistically he doesn't have those stats to look at in terms of baseball. He is, of course, the Airman, MJ, the one and only Michael Jordan.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
All right, Michael Jordan as a baseball player, what can you say? Well, in 127 games with the Birmingham Barons, the AA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, he hit .202 in 436 at-bats with 3 home runs and 51 RBIs. He stole 30 bases, which I didn't know that until just looking this up just now. But 30 stolen bases in 127 games. Pretty darn good, actually. But 88 hits, 17 of them were doubles. He walked 51 times, struck out 114 times, so not an on-base machine by any means. And he never ascended to the AAA level or the Major League level, as we all know by now. But what I want to stress and remind people of, I don't know if those of you that weren't around in 1994 when this was happening, it was quite a phenomenon. He had retired from basketball, decided to step away from the game, and I think it was in the aftermath of his father's passing, he was inspired to go to try to play baseball. And this was a time when he was on the cover of many magazines, including the Beckett. The Beckett was sort of my Bible back in 1994. I don't know how many of you remember this, but April 94 edition of the Beckett Baseball Card Monthly featured that 1991 Upper Deck SP1 Michael Jordan first baseball card. And, it's not a true rookie card, but I consider it somewhat of a rookie card because it was his first MLB licensed card, picturing him in a White Sox uniform playing baseball. This was more of a charity stunt that he did in the 1990 season. He was invited to batting practice and ended up hitting 2 home runs in batting practice with a White Sox uniform on. And it wasn't until a few years later that he actually decided to make a run at the game. Anyway, this is Junk Wax era, and there are so many of these out there. It's a very common card. So I would certainly advise anyone who's looking to add that card to their collection as an investment to go after a PSA 10, a higher grade example, because there are just so many of them out there. Just to give you some numbers, 11,132 of them have been graded by PSA alone. 4,546 PSA 9s. And there is 1,646 PSA 10s. So this is one of 1,600 PSA 10s. Still a lot, but it gives you some scarcity. At least you know that there aren't tens of thousands of them out there at that grade. So this is a card that spiked way up in the aftermath of the Last Dance documentary a couple of years ago, back in 2020. It went, this card was up at the $2,000 level, which is just ridiculous to me. And it's come considerably down from there. I think now a PSA 10 is right in the range of 500 or so. I was fortunate enough to pick up that card just after that Last Dance documentary. I think I paid $300 or so for that card. And so I'm happy. I mean, you could argue, oh, why didn't you sell it at $2,000? Well, I love the card. I remember it from my childhood. So for me, it's just a long-term hold. It's higher than when I bought it. It's a lot lower than it was a year ago. I'm okay with that. I'm a collector. I'm looking to hold for the long term, and I think it will hold its value as time goes, especially at the higher grades. So keep that in mind. Look at scarcity when you're buying these cards. It's really important. Here's another example. The 1994 Upper Deck, in this case, Electric Diamond. If you see a little print there at the bottom of the card, which says Electric Diamond, that's the parallel version of the card, and that matters in this case. The regular version, if you look at PSA Pops, there are 1,290 of these in a PSA 9 of the base card. Now, this is being the Electric Diamond. There's only 200 of these in PSA 9. So 200 of these in the world that exist at this grade of a prominent Michael Jordan card. So for me, that becomes much more investable and probably gains much more value over time than, say, having the base card graded at a 9. And I don't think you pay all that much more for the Electric Diamond. It's just a matter of finding it. So that's just a preference of mine, grabbing the scarcity while you can, when you can, for good value. Because there is a little danger in buying high population cards of players like Jordan who have lots of high population cards, Exhibit A right here, where you have tens of thousands of cards out there in circulation. The key is finding those cards in high grades or parallels of those cards in high grades. This is another set that I love, the 94 Upper Deck SP Hollowview Blue. I love the Hollowview Reds too, but those are a little more pricey. But this is the Hollowview Blue, the great hologram on there, great shot of Jordan going after a ball in the outfield. This is great at PSA 9 mint. It's not particularly rare. There's 417 of these graded a 9 on the population. So it's not overly rare, not overly common either, but it's just a card that I love. I love this set. The layout, the design, that mid-90s Upper Deck, mid-90s SP is just beautiful. Every set came out was just a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing layout and design. So love that 94 SP Hollowview set. Okay, last but certainly not least is one of the prized possessions of my collection. Actually, it's a Michael Jordan signed baseball done through Upper Deck back in the 90s, around the time when he was looking to play the sport. Upper Deck hologram on the back. Beautiful sweeping ballpoint signature on the sweet spot. Comes complete with the Upper Deck box here. Just an amazing item, a very iconic item of Jordan. One that I purchased probably 15, 20 years ago for that in the $250 to $280 range, which $250 for a Michael Jordan signed anything sounds ridiculous these days. But it just shows you that buying GOATs, buying elite players and quality items of elite players do appreciate steadily over time. It's a better strategy, I think, than trying to flip the hot prospect or make the quick score. That's definitely not my game. I'm definitely more in the buy long term, hold long term, but buy well and buy smart, buy scarcity, and buy the GOATs, buy the greatest and the timeless players, especially quality items of those timeless players to the extent that you can afford it in your budget. Anyway, these are my top Michael Jordan items. Do you have any baseball items for Michael Jordan that I'm missing? Anything that you have in your collection that I don't, that you enjoy? Please share those and comment, subscribe, and like. All those things, because I'm just getting this thing off the ground here. So we'll see you back here next week with another video, and we'll keep counting this down. Goodbye, and stay iconic.